For us movie lovers, it's always a fun exercise to think of what some of our favorite films would have been like if other actors had played the major characters, right?
This is Sparta!
Hi everybody, and welcome to the Screen Crowd. And today, we're going to count down the top 10 movie roles originally meant for other actors. Let's jump into the countdown. Number 10. Denzel Washington as Michael Clayton in Michael Clayton 2007. In 2007, when writer-director Tony Gilroy's feature film debut, Michael Clayton, hit theaters, he had a star-studded cast in tow with Tilda Swinton, Tom Wilkinson, and megastar George Clooney in the title role.
You don't have to worry because that's not how it's going to be for you. You're not going to be one of these people that goes through life wondering why shit keeps falling out of the sky around them. I know that. I know it. Okay?
Clooney would go on to earn a Best Actor Oscar nomination for the part, but director Gilroy had his eye on Denzel Washington originally. Denzel said, with Clayton, it was the best material I had read in a long time, but I was nervous about a first-time director and I was wrong. It happens. Oh well, you can't win them all. Denzel went on to make Ridley Scott's hit American Gangster, alongside Russell Crowe instead. Number 9. Christina Applegate as Elle Woods in Legally Blonde 2001. We all know Reese Witherspoon as the hilarious fish-out-of-water lawyer Elle Woods in Legally Blonde. I mean, the film made her an A-plus lister and a cornerstone of the early 2000s romantic comedy genre.
I plan on running for office someday.
What?
I think we should break up.
What?
Elle.
But can you believe the role almost went to TV's Kelly Bundy, aka Christina Applegate? Christina is said to have turned down the role because she was just coming off of playing ditzy blonde Kelly Bundy on Married with Children and didn't want to be typecast. But Christina doesn't have hard feelings about passing on the role of Elle Woods, saying, "I don't regret it because Reese Witherspoon did a much better job than I ever could, and she now has way more money and way more success. And so why would I even regret that?"
What are your backups?
I don't need backups. I'm going to Harvard.
Well, at least she has a sense of humor about it. Number 8. Robert De Niro as Josh Baskin in Big, 1988. It's hard to imagine anyone taking on the role of a 12-year-old boy trapped in a grown man's body the way Tom Hanks did in the hit film Big, Penny Marshall's coming-of-age story. But the role almost went to none other than Travis Bickle himself, Robert De Niro.
You talking to me? Then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me?
I mean, we all know De Niro as a legendary actor and movie tough guy, but who could imagine him playing chopsticks on a giant floor piano in FAO Schwartz? Well, had it not been for rescheduling conflicts, it would have happened, as De Niro was actually cast as Josh originally.
There's a million robots that turn into something, and this is a building that turned into a robot. So what's fun about playing with a building? That's not any fun.
But when De Niro had to back out, Hanks stepped in, and the rest is film history. While Big was one of the comedy hits of 1988, De Niro starred in his own comedy hit, Midnight Run, the same year. Number 7. Jack Nicholson as Normandale, Hoosiers, 1986. We all know Hoosiers as one of the greatest sports films ever made, with Oscar winner Gene Hackman leading the charge as hard-nosed coach Normandale.
Team, right? No one more important than the other. Pop them, pop, get rid of them. Come on.
But it was the world's most famous Lakers fan who originally wanted the part. That's right, none other than Jack Nicholson. At the time, Jack Nicholson was arguably the biggest movie star in the world and actually wanted to do the film, but was a witness in an ongoing lawsuit that tied him up for 6 months. The film shoot had a tight schedule, and Jack told the filmmakers that if they had to shoot now, to go ahead and find another actor. Otherwise, he could do the film in a year. The filmmakers had to move forward with the production and brought in Gene Hackman to play Coach Dale. After seeing the film, Nicholson tells the director David Onspaugh that the film is great, the actors are great, but if I had been in the film, it would have been a mega hit.
As long as I live, she'll never let me forget what happened.
Number 6. O.J. Simpson as the Terminator, The Terminator 1984. When The Terminator was released in 1984, it became a box office smash that launched Arnold Schwarzenegger's film career. I mean, if you're gonna have a film where a super cyborg from the future comes back to kill Sarah Connor and anyone else who gets in the way, you're gonna want someone who looks intimidating, right? Well, when director James Cameron was casting the film, the head of the studio came to him and said, "I want O.J. Simpson for the Terminator." Cameron and his producing partner Gale Ann Hurd just looked at each other and said, "You gotta be kidding me." Apparently, the idea was never really more than just that, an idea, as Cameron found Simpson to be a little too pleasant for his taste. Number 5. Bette Midler as Sister Mary Clarence, Sister Act 1992. Almost 30 years later, Sister Act is still a beloved film that is popular across different generations. Not only is the film harrowing at times, but absolutely hilarious, and includes uplifting musical numbers to boot. Much of the film's success could be attributed to its lead actress Whoopi Goldberg, who turns in a signature performance as Dolores Wilson, Sister Mary Clarence. But it was another great actress with some major singing chops that was offered the role first, Bette Midler. The role was actually written with Bette in mind, but she didn't think her fans would want to see her wearing a wimple. Well, at least we'll always have Hocus Pocus. Number 4. Leonardo DiCaprio as Dirk Diggler in Boogie Nights 1997. Back in 1997, when writer-director Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights was released, it had a star-studded cast including Julianne Moore, John C. Reilly, Burt Reynolds, and Mark Wahlberg as Dirk Diggler, a porno actor who has to navigate newfound fame in a volatile adult film industry during the 1970s and 80s. The role kickstarted what would go on to become a highly successful career for Wahlberg in the movies.
It's folded over 70 times carbon-treated steel.
Take your damn hands off me.
You gotta tell your boy to learn how to count. The deal was for 60 packs.
Yeah? Well, that's all we got.
But the director, Anderson, had another up-and-coming actor in mind for the role, Leonardo DiCaprio. Anderson says he had seen DiCaprio in 1995's Basketball Diaries, which also co-starred Wahlberg, and knew he had found his lead for Boogie Nights. But DiCaprio turned the role down to star in an even bigger film that you may have heard of called Titanic, and became an international heartthrob and the most in-demand actor in Hollywood. But it was actually DiCaprio who suggested to Anderson that he cast Wahlberg in the role of Diggler, and well, the rest is history. Number 3. Daniel Day-Lewis as Andrew Beckett in Philadelphia 1993. Jonathan Demme's 1993 AIDS drama Philadelphia was undoubtedly one of the best films of the 90s. It paired two all-time great actors in Tom Hanks as Andrew Beckett, a lawyer who has AIDS and is suing his old firm for wrongful termination, and Denzel Washington as his reluctant defense attorney. The scenes between the two are a masterclass in acting.
I have a case. If you don't want it for personal reasons.
Thank you, that's correct, I don't.
With Tom Hanks going on to win his first Best Actor Oscar for the role. But director Jonathan Demme and writer Ron Neiswainer wanted Daniel Day-Lewis for the role of Andrew Beckett, but he declined to do In the Name of Father. Demme and Neiswainer were reportedly quite angry when Day-Lewis turned down the part, wondering how he could turn down what they believed would be an important film. And as great as Hanks and Washington are together, it would have been a real treat to see Day-Lewis and Washington share screens together as well. Number 2. Denzel Washington as Detective David Mills in Seven, 1995. Speaking of Denzel, he shows up on our list once again for a role that he turned down, calling it one of his biggest regrets. When director David Fincher was casting for the young detective trying to track down a serial killer, he sent Washington the script, and upon reading it, Denzel said he found it to be too dark and evil.
He wants you to shoot him.
No! No! You tell me that's not true. That's not true.
Become vengeance, David.
Ah, she's all right. You tell me.
Become wrath.
Tell me she's all right!
Washington said the film's storyline had just appeared too overwhelming for him to be a part of, but the product that ended up on the big screen garnered his admiration. I guess the whole head-in-the-box thing was a bit too much for him. The role eventually went to Brad Pitt, who was paired with Morgan Freeman to track down John Doe. Denzel went on to do Devil in a Blue Dress and Crimson Tide. Number 1. Heath Ledger as Llewellyn Moss, No Country for Old Men, 2007. The Coen brothers' 2007 film No Country for Old Men is arguably one of the 5 best films of the 21st century. While it's hard to imagine anyone else besides Josh Brolin in the part, the Coens were initially interested in casting Heath Ledger. While there were some initial conversations between the two sides, Ledger eventually withdrew himself from consideration to take time off from acting. Brolin, for his part, blew the Coens away with his audition tape that was directed by Quentin Tarantino and shot by Robert Rodriguez while on lunch break during shooting for the Grindhouse film. The role revived Brolin's career, and he would eventually go on to play Thanos in the MCU. Ledger would go on to play his iconic role as the Joker in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, before sadly passing away prior to the film's release in 2008. That brings us to the end of our list. We hope you liked this video, and if so, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the Screen Crowd. See you next time.